All right, welcome to the broadcast, everyone. This is the New Oaks AI podcast with your host, me, once again, Leland Best of Best Studios LLC, and the CEO of New Oaks himself, Ray Lewan. So, welcome to the broadcast, Ray. As usual, what's going on today?
Thank you, Leland. Everything is good. It's coming to spring, so the weather is very nice, sunny every day here. Yeah, I'm a happy person.
That's good. Summer's here, isn't it? Just about. Do you guys get like a long spring, or is it like
Well,
constant
not really
summer?
long spring, very short spring, and get in the summer really fast. I think it's only about a month, and then
Really?
we'll get to hot summer. Summer is pretty long here, and
Okay.
then yeah, short autumn.
I think I would enjoy that more. We just get a lot of rain and clouds and nasty
Yeah.
until like June, and then it starts to
Wow.
freshen up. Well, they call it. They say April flowers. April showers bring May flowers, right? So
Okay.
that's
Yeah.
kind of what we get around here. So still
Yeah.
raining, still
Wow.
rain.
Wow.
So
It's
what?
still cold.
Well, we're hoping for summer soon.
Yeah.
But everybody needs their vitamin D, right? Right. That's kind of
Yeah.
the thing. Everybody needs vitamin D.
Exactly. Vitamin D.
So,
Yeah.
speaking of vitamins, a lot of stuff at OpenAI seems like they're dropping a new model, what, every week now? Is
Yeah.
that their course of action? So, what's the news over at OpenAI, Ray? Two new models, O3 and O4 Mini. What do we got
Yeah,
there?
I think the O3 they already released that, but they add new features on it. O3 and O4 Mini. I think what they do is they add a lot of web search features, image, image uploading, and image interpretation, and also probably in the future browser use. I think what they do. One thing is important is that they actually make the response API have a reasoning capability, which means that, yeah, so more models they are releasing has reasoning capability and combine all the previous features together so that it's making more like an AI agent. That's my take. What's your take on that?
I haven't played with it yet, but my buddy Jim, who is a very, he's a high-end coder, worked for
Yeah,
Cisco, AWS certified type stuff,
yeah,
and he goes to O3 now for his coding. He was a
yeah,
Claude guy, but he was
yeah,
burning up so many. It just didn't have the code window he needed for
yeah,
the builds he was doing because he asks for a full stack of return code. When he
yeah,
asks for an edit, he just says, here's what I started with. I need you to do yada yada yada, and then send me back the entire code stack.
yeah,
And to do that, you need a big, token window for one to
yeah.
play in, and that's what
Context
they're
window.
allowing for here, context window. So
Context window.
that gives us a lot more to play with than what we used to
Yeah.
have. So he loves O3. He's definitely all over that
Well,
stuff.
that's an interesting topic because we were also thinking about explore O3. Well, the reason we use Cloud Sonic 3.7 is that it's very super strong in terms of coding. I mean, the code come out of Sonic 3.7 has less bug versus 3.5 or other large language models.
Hmm.
But I think for cloud, the only limit is context window. So the input context window is 200K long, means that you can only put that long prompt or tokens
Yep.
into cloud. And even worse, the output context window is not 200K as they announced. It's smaller. It's like
Kind of dumb.
it's
If I want to
8K.
upload something, how are you going to send
Yep,
it back to
yep.
me if it's going to give me a small
Right.
font?
So when you enter a 200K long token or prompt, it only returns your 8K long tokens. That limits the number of rounds of codes you can run within cloud. So that's a limit that every senior developer will face when it comes to web coding with large language models. I think one of the O3 strengths is that they have 1 million tokens.
Yes. Yes.
Right. So that's big thing, right? The context window, you can put literally a whole app's code into prompt into
Makes sense.
GPT and get same length of the output back. So that's a huge that I think that's a huge advantage in terms of context window. I still do not know what is their rate limit on requests per million token. I mean, it means that how many requests you can send per minute. Sorry, requests per minute. So that's another speed limit. If they can improve that, I think they might be able to, you know, compete with Cloud Sonnet for coding.
Well, they're giving us the ability now to upload images as part of the chain of thought, which gives it
Yeah.
the ability then to reason with the images, which might be charts or pie graphs or any other context data that somebody just
Mhm.
snapped off of a napkin, maybe, or something like that. So that
Yeah.
it at least puts the context in the window for them to deal with. So I could see that being a plus because that's
Yeah.
something we haven't been able to do. So
Yeah.
what about the API though? What are we seeing? It looks like they're giving us full access to the chat completions API, which
Yeah.
was available in some instances, but what is the dev access that you're seeing? Because I'm not accessing it in that way just
Well,
yet.
well, mostly we are using we haven't checked the chat we haven't used the chat completion API yet, but we
Okay.
use most of the response API, which means that when you um when you perform a function call, you're calling the response API. Well, it only previously only give you the output text. I think now it can give you reasoning process, not only the result. That's my understanding,
That makes
because
sense.
previously, yeah, the train of thought, people are complaining about ChatGPT. It's a train of thought process
Hmm.
because they do not display, the process at all. Versus DeepSeek, people, a lot of people like DeepSeek is that they give you every step, the thinking process of every step, and let you know what reasoning process or inferring process is going through in order to get the end result, because a lot of times sometimes the end result could be a hallucination.
True.
So the transparency is critical. I think probably I had to double check response API may give us the thinking process back
Hmm.
as a
Yeah, that
part of
makes sense.
reasoning that makes it more transparent.
I totally get it. And for those people out there, we've had a hiccup in the signal here, Ray. So I just restarted the feed at where we're at right now. You
Okay.
were inherently not noticing, and that's okay. I'm going to upload this recording that we have in house as
Yep.
soon as this video is done. So if
Yep.
you're seeing
No
us right
problem.
now, we just had a little bump in the stream waiting for the access to kick in. So, Ray, great discussion on the newest models out at
Yep.
OpenAI, and I expect us to use them as well. We're actually starting to transition some of our stuff into other
Mhm.
avenues,
Yep.
focusing a lot on AWS for one,
Yep.
because we
Uh-huh.
feel that there's a lot of stuff going on in this space right now, but I think
Yep.
data in general and where we put it and how we
Yep.
store it and how we move it is going to be the important part. And there's no
Yep.
better infrastructure, obviously, on the planet than the two biggest, which are be AWS and Microsoft. So we'll
Exactly.
we'll be hovering in those areas a lot in the near future. So tell us about this segment. We're going to get into vibe coding 101 a little bit tonight
Yeah.
with Ray and his newest run at EZsite AI, which is hit number
Yes.
one over at Product Hunt. Congratulations, Ray.
Yes.
I still owe you a review. I haven't been on G2 and I don't know how long. So Ray
Yes.
Ray
Please.
emailed me the other day. It's like, haven't you done
Uh-huh.
a review over there for
Yeah.
me yet? And I'm like, no, I haven't. Ray, I need to get
Sure.
over there. So
Sure.
next on my list in the morning will be to get a
Yeah.
review for you. I wanted to
Yeah.
make it a good one anyway, so I had to think about it a
Sure.
couple of
Appreciate that. Right. Okay.
So, key pillars that Ray wants to
Yeah.
talk about. You got four, you got three of them, it looks like. Tell me
Yeah.
where you stand when it comes to vibe coding and development.
Right. So what? So first of all, for the concept of vibe coding, it means that you do not need to write real computer code like Java or ASP.NET or anything. Instead, you use prompt, where means it really means plain English to code any website or app that you wanted. So that's called vibe coding. And because recently we have a lot of customers coming to EZsite AI, and I checked their user journey when they log on the EZsite AI, and then I found out I found out a common practice that a lot of people try to write a long and complex prompt to put every details into one prompt, and try to use one prompt to generate a website or an app. So I think that's, yeah. So previously we have some blank pages or you know, or some errors on the screen and on the front end of the website generated, and we figure out it's because the prompt, a lot of times the prompt is too long, and then the
Oh, I
cloud.
see what you're saying. So you're
Yeah,
throwing the sentence in there. So I just hit a one button and it basically
yeah,
said create a professional landing page for SaaS startup with techie
yeah,
tone and vivid colors. That's all
yeah.
you need, right? Nothing
Right,
more
that's all you
than
need.
that.
It's a good start, but a lot of
Yeah.
people will put a prompt with like 10K tokens. I mean, like
I get it.
almost
Sure.
1,000 wording
I'm
in it.
known for
So
that when it comes to developing certain prompts, but I could see that being detrimental to a prompt that you're trying to let the AI be the designer. You want
yeah,
to not kind of chain hold it as we would normally, where we put, guardrails along the sides of the AI. Maybe it's better this time to not do that and just
right,
kind of
right.
have its
So
way.
that's right. So when you write the long prompt is when you talk to GPT directly, but when you do vibe coding, it's better to give the AI one task a time. And you don't want you want to do like divide and conquer, right? You don't want to give the big complicated task. You want
Sure.
to divide it, break the task, the complicated task into small piece of components and enter components one by one so that by the end you will get a full-blown website or app. So the number one rule is give the AI one simple prompt at a time instead of a big long complex prompt that has all the details in it.
I like this one. I might use this one, Ray. This one
Yeah,
came out really. And see, I have to admit that I've built other websites, and let's
yeah,
just compare. If I were to compare that
mm-hmm.
with this, okay, this SaaS
Yeah,
landing page,
yeah,
I'm not. Look at this. It even broke.
yeah,
And this is because I gave it a pretty good sized prompt. If you look at it,
yeah,
I don't. Where is? Oh no, this was just SaaS landing page. So I didn't maybe give it enough. This was just
right.
a limited. But then when we did this one, I actually like the look of this one. I might have to adopt
You
this
can
one
copy
myself.
it. You can copy it and remodify it based. Yeah.
Now let's talk about that. So you're talking about breaking down complex jobs and writing more detailed prompts at a more another step of the process, right?
Yeah,
Is what you're trying
exactly.
to get at. So where
Yeah.
would you do that in this case? If I'm on this website, I don't really see a lot wrong with this one. I could probably just download the code if I wanted it
Yeah.
and take this full stack over to a hosting platform and just upload everything. Or I host
Hmm.
it right here on the site and connect the database on the back
Yeah.
end. So what would you advise somebody do when they're at a stage where they're not liking the colors or they're not liking the patterns or the style of the website? What would be the next step someone should take?
Yeah, good question. So next step is I actually have a menu visual editing feature on the right top corner. There's an edit
Yep.
button. Yeah, click the edit button.
Oh, there
I
I
can,
see it.
yeah,
Yep, I'm
there's
on
an
the
edit
edit
button.
now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then
So I could come in here and change the code if I want.
yeah, you can change the code. We have both code edit and also preview panel edit. So that edit
Oh,
is actually for the panel, any element, HTML elements
yeah.
added. So we have
Okay.
both. Yeah. So that way it's easier. I know there's some other vibe coding tool can only change by AI
Yeah.
automatically. So we can do both. You can either choose AI edit or manual visual edit, which is more powerful.
So how would I replace a logo then, right? It says it's got a button here that says edit. Would I be able to upload an image in place of something that's in the
Yeah.
prompt
So
already?
yep. So if you want to replace the logo, you need to go to the settings,
Oh, I see. So you're going to end up back inside the systems.
back to settings. So there is a asset. Go back to asset.
Yep. Oh,
Yeah. So I upload the logo as an image, right, into the asset.
generated one. Or it even has a generated one. Huh?
Yep.
Let me just see what it does as an AIO image because I always like to
Well,
see the
we use a image generator API. Um, I'm not sure about the quality yet. It's not as good as for older.
That's all right. It's always worth taking a look. Yeah, that's something I haven't tested. Oh, that's a
Yeah,
good.
and
That's
then
just
you
all.
need to write a description
Yeah, okay.
for the image logo.
This is fly a kite. I'm not sure where they
Yeah.
got that from. I'm not going to
And
use that image for my particular brand, but it's interesting that it came up, what it came up with three letters, because that's not a typical brand. It's just a representation of all in one. And
yeah,
not everyone understands that when they see AIO, it's not really an obvious. So for AI, it's been a difficult task for it to ever come up with a proper logo for me. So I get it. But yeah, you could even do a video. That's slick.
right. And
Video in the
also
middle of
you
it.
need to get the image name right. And then you can put a yeah, to save it in the asset. And then
Yeah.
if you want to replace the logo, then you can use a prompt, say replace the
Oh,
logo
really?
with flying kite image. It has to be very accurate so that the AI will recognize the image on
That's
the
in the
asset.
low. Oh, okay. So it should be able to identify it based on that. So let's just see if I
Yeah,
can. Let's see if it'll work. Who knows if it will or not? It's worth a try.
yeah,
So then this is obvious. If we have a stack of code, we're going to have to stay well organized. So,
yeah,
as you add features and components to a website, it's obviously best to do it step by step. You're not going to just expect the thing to build an entire 20-page website with one click. We never expect that.
yeah,
But you should test it, right? After every
yeah.
iteration. That's
Uh-huh.
just common code practice. And then when you say use clean sessions for each task, explain that for us, Ray. What do you
Um,
say? Because it sounds like you're saying take the code from here and start a whole new session with it. How do we do that? Is that something that you're saying reiterate?
right. So what that means that
Oh, look at that. It worked. There we go.
for for every new feature, is that right? Okay, awesome.
Yep, that
Yep.
worked.
So every new features that you want to fully test, and then when you start a new feature,
Hmm.
um, it's
So
better
how do you
to
do it? I get it. So a new feature to this page, you mean like if you
yeah,
wanted to add a testimonials page, this one already
yeah,
has one. But if it
yeah,
didn't finish that page, now this one has them all. I was actually really surprised because some I've
yeah.
done didn't complete the page work sometimes.
Exactly. So that's the
That's
benefit
awesome.
of 3.7. It's built a very complete product instead of a half 50% finished
Gotcha.
product. So that's a benefit. And so when we say a new session, which really means that you don't want to mess up the last feature, right? The description of last feature. You need to be very specific that, okay, this feature is for testimonial, for example, and last
Gotcha.
feature was for contact list. Other, because people tend to like talking, you know, put on someone's review comments on the website, but it didn't say, okay, which section is for, and what is relation between this feature and the last feature that you build. It will confuse AI. So that means for fresh session. And the second actually the most important thing on the second principle is that you can always reverse back to the previous version when the
Oh,
current version doesn't work. Because a lot of sometimes the code is messy, and then when you're stuck in right, whatever prompt you use, it just doesn't work, and you're like feel very frustrated. But a better strategy is there's a restore button or history button on
I
the
see
left
it.
corner.
Yep,
You
right
can
there.
always restore the version back to the one
The
which
one set
was
after
working.
that previous
Yeah, and
version.
functional, fully functional. Reverse back and then try it again. It's better than spend a lot of time just into the current like
Yeah,
common
troubleshooting and
feature that yeah,
something you don't
troubleshooting.
even know.
Yeah, and it brings more messy code. So restore to previous versions is always the best practice. I think that's one of the key for well organized structure. That's the
Yeah.
most important thing. Yep.
Now, one thing I've noticed, because that was an issue, when we're coding with AI, one of the complications is if you don't write the code, you don't know what's in the code. So
Yep.
it's a little more difficult to troubleshoot something you didn't write. And
Yes.
in that process, you were relying on the AI to check itself and know that it did the right thing. Now, there are some code platforms that it's really good at, and there's other code platforms that it can get a little messy with if it's not done right and prompted correctly. So, yeah, it's
Yep.
really just a matter of what you're working with at the time, and it's getting better
Yeah.
all the time. we're
Right.
seeing almost 99.9% accuracy every time we do AWS type code, the Java applet code that they use
Yeah.
on their site builds. And it's just amazing because it knows code from
Yep.
AWS inside and out now. It's
Yeah,
just that
it's
good.
truly amazing. So another thing that web coding is amazing is that, for example, if you are Lina, if you are a front end developer and you're not very familiar with database and stuff, right? You can't know everything, right?
No, I
But
know.
with web coding, and it already compensate the knowledge that you're lacking of, and you just describe what you want for a database. It automatically create the code. And even better, on the code review panel, remember you just mentioned you cannot debug some code that you didn't write. So in the code review panel on the left hand side, you can actually double check the code that AI generated, and yep, and then modify it right there, or download it and put it back to your GitHub or whatever development environment and change it back.
Wow,
So
that's a nice code editor actually to
yeah,
see how well it blocks the data for you so that you see where each component and subroutine's actually attached to
exactly.
the other. That's pretty cool. That's nice
Yep.
code editor. Wow.
It's
Slick.
yeah.
I like it.
Most time is use the best practice, so it's better than the average coder. I can't say it's the best coder, but it's much better than the average coder. Yeah,
So
better than
with
mine at
regards
least.
Well, with regards to that, I mean, we just mentioned too in this whole be patient thing to review and
Yeah,
understand the EZsite output. So
yeah.
when you look at, if you're even not a coder, it's not that difficult really. When you look at the components that are here, this is primarily JS or JavaScript. So it's a matter of the pages that are written in the code and then the styles that are applied to the code. And the data that's used for the utilities is within those same applets down at the bottom, along with the main
I think
index page. So go for it.
I think another one interpretation of the third principle is that if you go to the preview page,
Hmm.
whenever the AI, go to the preview page on the left hand side, whenever the AI give you output, it always explain what it did, right? What it has done. So a lot of times you better to pay attention to that. AI was talking to you, hey, that's what I've created, and what else do you need? And explain that it may have already enabled the database and also create a your contact list on the database. So that will give you the context of what AI has done and prevent messy coding.
And has anyone applied the Postgres and the Supabase additions to this yet that you're aware of? Because we intend to if we do. I'd like to try out some of the database connections
I
and
I
play around with
haven't
it.
I didn't know anyone has done that yet. But I
Okay.
know someone has done the super base. I think you may want to try another fun feature that we just released with if you connect to your SQL, which is text to report,
Oh,
means that you can prompt to your database to generate dashboard analytical report, whatever report you want
nice.
to generate. Yeah, right. So that's one of the fun features or critic. I mean, yeah, that we recently launched,
Okay.
which could be a big, which could be a big value to any developers with no,
Absolutely.
yeah,
Well, let's just make a punch for that, Ray. For any of the folks who are interested in EZsite AI, go be sure to check it out. It's an easy site to remember. Just add AI at the end of it. And then after you're done, head over to G2 and give Ray a good review where he's number one on Product Hunt because
please,
that's really what it's all about. We want to
yeah,
get Ray pushed up to the top because
yeah,
it's a product worthy of its status and we need to let people see how
mhm,
AI is being applied appropriately. That's what it's all about. We're all
yeah,
now getting into productization. AI has gotten somewhat past its pre-primer stage, if you want to call it that, or its pre-education stage. It's graduating from elementary school, let's say, and it's moving into the junior high stage.
yeah,
So, it's just going to continue to advance as it always does, Ray. And I see you watch, kind of riding that wave along as it goes, and just staying in tune with everything that's up front. So, what do you see coming next? Is the call to AI always is bring AI to your business to make it more profitable, as Ray's continuous to do so at New Oaks and over here at EZsite. So what's your next venture moving forward into the spring and into the summer, Ray? Where do you see you going in Q2?
Yeah, so the next step is we will continue to improve EZsite AI, but I think one thing that most of the web coding tool not good at is that it still has a entry barrier for non-coders. So for business owners with complete no coding knowledge or jargons or any background, I think it's better for them to have a turnkey solution. So we plan to build a full stack template, which means most of the templates is like UI template, right? We are going to build a turnkey solution templates for different business segments. For example, like e-commerce. So the first one we're going to build is like Shopify templates, but with both CRM, backend database, even payment module, and also the sales automated follow-up funnel module. So literally whatever we're going to build a templates that can empower business owners to use it right away after access the product and be able to deliver revenue right after deployment. So that's the goal. Not only a productivity tool, but we want to build something that can make money for business owners. I think that's what everyone will need eventually.
So kind of a SaaS marketplace within EZsite itself, where hey, if you need a SaaS for simple,
Yep.
let's just say what's the word, a dashboard or something like that, you could go buy a dashboard from somebody and
Exactly.
built it on EZsite.
Yep.
That's pretty cool.
Exactly. So
All right.
we're also building roadmap features, means that you can use our roadmap app. And
Okay.
also dashboard, task report is a dashboard tool, right? So we build everything with EZsite. Roadmap, change log, even affiliation program features. So every features is a standalone product, and it also could be a features which can be installed into your apps,
Yeah,
which makes
I like that.
us a GPT store, something like a GPT store, right? You can get it and to go. It's a ready to go solution. Just
It is. It's a
yeah.
full turnkey, like you mentioned. If you can come to
Mhm.
one place, and I'm all about the all-in-one brand, you know that, Ray. And when
Yeah,
it comes to building stuff in a simple fashion, you've kind of nailed it. So let's just say we see where you end up next week, because I know
sure.
every week your team's building something new, and I really appreciate that you're here every
Yeah,
week to let people know what those things
yeah.
are. And for those who are watching, if you're watching us here on YouTube, which would be the place, be sure to stop by next Tuesday at 9 p.m., where Ray and I discuss what's new over at New Oaks and the trending happenings out in AI. So, Ray, thanks for
Yeah.
being here as always. We'll see
Thank
you
you.
next week.
And just last reminder, please go to Product Hunt to vote for EZsite AI because we're still um, competing for the #1 of the month ranking. So
Over
your
who are you up against right now, Ray?
TikTok. They released
Woo!
a new they did this new product with a pivot, which is currently #1. So we're trying to compete with them. They are #1, we are #5, but we need more upvotes. So TikTok,
That's got to be a.
yeah,
I
let's
hope that's
get
a
TikTok.
friendly race. I hope that's a
Yeah,
friendly race for you. We'll see
yeah,
how that one turns out. All right,
yeah.
Ray. You take care.
All
We'll see
right.
you next week. Good
Okay,
one.
see you. That's great. Take care. Bye bye.